Van Jones is going to talk to Trump supporter Jeffrey Lord here on CNN about Trump not disavowing white supremacists. And Lord is going to make the most ridiculous arguments you've ever heard in your life.
He is whipping up and tapping into and pushing buttons that are very, very frightening to me and frightening to a lot of people. Number one, when he is playing funny with the Klan, that is not cool.
He didn't play funny.
Hold on a second. I know this man when he gets passionate about terrorism. I know how he talks about terrorism. The Klan is a terrorist organization that has killed
a leftist terrorist organization.
You can put whatever label you want. That's your game to play.
No, that's your
game to play. No, they're not. We're not going to play that game.
No, we are going to understand history.
No. You need to take a serious look at the fact that this man is playing fast and loose and footsie. When you talk about terrorism, he gets passionate. He says, no, this is wrong. But when you talk about the Klan, oh, I don't know. That's wrong. And then you came on the air and you said, well, this is just like when Reverend Wright was speaking.
Yeah.
Reverend Wright never lynched anybody. Reverend Wright never killed anybody.
Reverend Wright is an anti-Semite.
Reverend Wright never put anybody on a post. And you guys play these word games. And it's wrong to do in America.
It is wrong to understand that these are not leftists. They were a
what difference does it make if you call them
a lot of difference,
Van. Call them chipmunks. They kill people. And you don't play games with that.
You're right. And you don't hide and say that's not part of the base of the Democratic Party. That has been, they were the military arm, the terrorist arm of the Democratic Party, according to historians. For God's sakes, read your history.
I don't know. I don't care.
This whole attitude of dividing by race is still here. And this is how Democrats do the deal.
Did you hear the stuff that he said? He says the KKK is a, quote, leftist terrorist organization. And he goes on to say, by the way, that they're pushing the progressive agenda. And then he also said, this is the base of the Democratic Party. Wow. Now, what should be popping up in your mind here is, isn't he leaving out a tiny little fact here which destroys his entire argument that the KKK were Democrats before the parties in America flipped? So they were the conservative party. The idea that the KKK is leftist or liberal or progressive flies in the face of basic political definitions. It's opposite day in this guy's mind. They know nothing about American history. This is what they love to do. See, at the end, he tried it when he said, yeah, but the KKK is from the Democrats. He said it there, but what he doesn't get is, that's the talking point, you dipshit. The talking point isn't they're leftists, they're liberals, they're progressives. That is patently false. Now, again, it's true that it was the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party at the time was the conservative party. There was a time in American history during the Civil Rights era where the parties flipped. And all of the Dixiecrats, the Southern conservative Democrats, where did they go when Democrat Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act? They went to the Republican Party. The Republican Party was like, hey, we'll welcome racists with open arms. Guys, this isn't a matter of debate. The Republican Party has been running the Southern strategy for decades now. You know what that means? That means, okay, yeah, give the blacks and the Hispanics and everybody else to the Democratic Party. We'll try to win elections solely by appealing to Southern racist white men. So this guy, it's so ironic that he's lecturing, well, you need to know your history. No, you need to know your history. That dumbass talking point of, it's the Democratic Party. Right, back when the Democrats were conservative. So in other words, it's still you. It's still your side of the aisle. But this guy is such a dunce, and he's so stupid that he doesn't realize that, see, Sean Hannity is smart enough to know when I do my hacky, misleading bullshit talking point that the KKK is from the Democratic Party, you don't go on to say, hey, they're leftists, they're progressives, they're liberals. You don't say that because it's not true. That's the opposite. That's the opposite. So again, it's true it's the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party at the time was the conservative party. The parties flipped during the civil rights era. This guy leaves out that fact as he ironically lectures Van Jones about history. And then he also goes on to say, I love this line. He's like, you didn't see it here, but again, this goes on for a long time. He goes on to say, yeah, you know, the Democrat strategy is just to divide us all by race. Hey, jackass, you're supporting Donald Trump. The whole scandal that's happening over Donald Trump right now is that he's dividing us by race. When he's asked point blank 3 times by Jake Tapper, live on CNN, hey, are you going to disavow? It's a softball right down the play. Huh? Right down the huh? He goes, are you going to disavow the KKK? Are you going to disavow David Duke and white supremacists? He said it 3 times. Trump's like, yeah, I just don't know anything about David Duke. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know anything about David Duke. And to be clear, he actually does. There's quotes of him from the early 2000s talking about David Duke. He's like, well, me? No, David Duke? I don't know anything about David Duke. I don't know what you're talking about. Later on, he wants to say, I had a bad earpiece. You had a bad earpiece. He said it 3 times. White supremacist David Duke, and he said KKK once. Nothing. You go, I don't know. I don't know if I disavow them. What do you want me to say? And what's this jackass's takeaway from that? Democrats are always dividing us by race. No, he just divided us by race. You have white nationalists that are endorsing him left and right. We're going to do a story later today. He's giving press credentials to white nationalists, Trump, into his events. Meanwhile, now you could say, hey, whatever, he might let everybody in. No, he doesn't let everybody in. He doesn't give press credentials to legitimate outlets, but he gives them to white nationalist radio shows. Tell me again who's dividing by race, you jackass. No, I'm done with this guy. I can't believe they even allow him on CNN. I mean, what an embarrassment. You're going to have somebody that calls the KKK a leftist terrorist organization. You're going to have somebody who says the KKK pushes the progressive agenda and keep them on. And this isn't a, oh my God, PC outrage kind of thing. It's very simple. He's not doing his job. He doesn't know anything. In order to be an analyst on the news and a commentator, you have to know something. You can't go out there and say shit that's untrue and wildly incorrect and then say, no, I demand that I should be allowed to keep my job. Well, perhaps you should do your job well if that's the case. That's like a plumber who comes to your house, doesn't know anything about plumbing. Yeah, I'm here to fix the toilet. Only problem is I don't know anything about toilets. I don't know how to do anything plumbing-wise, but pay me. Well, yet why would I pay you? You don't know how to do your fucking job. What are you talking about? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. This guy's in that category. He just called the KKK a leftist group. You're going to keep that guy on the air? You're fucking crazy. Compare this to anything a liberal would say. If a liberal said something outrageous, oh, fired immediately. Martin Bashir said something about Sarah Palin, about quoting somebody else and mentioning defecating in somebody's mouth. Oh my God, fire him immediately. Here somebody calls the KKK a leftist organization. They had him on today, the day after, for another conversation about this. This isn't a debate. This one guy belongs in a fucking insane asylum or locked in a library so he can learn some shit. And Van Jones actually knows something. This isn't a debate. Let's stop pretending it is.